Don't spend hours or days of your life.
All right. Joe of FallenOne Gaming today holds a special place in NerdCage Live history. NerdCage Live Gaming. A special guest in the house here. We have Doc Mack, the owner of the Galloping Ghost Arcade, the largest arcade in the world, Chicago, Illinois, in the house. Joe, give me that countdown.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get over here! Hi, I'm martial art master Daniel Casino. You know me as the original Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, and Smoke. You are tuning in to NerdCage Live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Don't miss an episode or you'll get caged. So let's finish him.
NerdCage Live and Gaming are a perfect match!
Shoot the J, Joe.
Okay.
Shoot it!
All right.
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster. Oh no, Joe. The galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
Hey everybody, this is Dave Niebuhr from Dog Eat Dog, and you're watching NerdCage Live. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel. These are great guys doing what they love to do.
We're doing another NerdCage Live giveaway, Joe. Joe, what are we giving away this time?
This time we are giving away the collector's edition of Mortal Kombat 1.
Yes! We're excited to team up with Uncanny Carlos and MK Havoc Act to give this away on Thursday, October 26th. Live. Be there. Joe of FallenOne Gaming, how do you enter to win?
Send an email with just your name in the subject line to nerdcagelive@outlook.com.
Absolutely. Be sure to enter before Tuesday, October 24th. We're going to spin a wheel live and we're going to pick a winner live. And we will email that winner. And that winner has 48 hours to reply to us with your full shipping information, US and Canada only.
Good luck, NerdCage Nation, and flawless victory!
This is Anthony Marquez, better known as Kung Lao for Mortal Kombat. Make sure to like and subscribe to NerdCage Live. Be there. Us.
Hi, I'm Leah Montalongo, the OG Sindel. Please like, subscribe to NerdCage Live.
Let's get ready to
Hey guys, it's the original Shao Kahn, Brian Glenn, and I'd like you to subscribe to NerdCage Live.
This is Ernie C. from Body Count. You're tuned in to NerdCage. Can you like and subscribe?
Greetings, citizens! You're now trapped in the nerd cage. We hope you have a smashing good time.
You're now about to witness the strength of geek knowledge. Hello, welcome. That's right. Once again, you are trapped in Nerd Cage Live. This channel is a celebration of all things pop culture, including the greatest place in the world, the largest arcade in the world, the Galloping Ghost Arcade. Please hit that like button and subscribe and share this channel with everybody you know. Helps us more than you know. I'm your co-host, Jay St. G, Certified Geek, 7 days a week, coming to you live from yours truly, the land of the orange, the land of Tom Cruise, the land of Earth Crisis of Syracuse, New York. And he's back! Always among us. It's our moderator and Trollhammer, stronger than the DK Banana Slammer. You can't stop it. You can't crop it. You can't top it. Like a B-52 bomber, Oppenheimer. He's gonna drop it. Born from the atomic seed in the titanium womb. He's the Nerd Cage Live Gaming Prophet. Everybody, welcome back. Joe of FallenOne Gaming, please introduce our guest tonight.
Tonight, we have the one, the only, Doc Mack, owner of Galloping Ghost Arcade, here with us tonight. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Excellent.
Anytime.
Before we go any further, Joe, who do we got in the chat tonight?
In the chat tonight, we have our Tara 11 and a ton of lurkers, I'm sure. Don't be shy.
They'll all start pouring in. But absolutely, we're very, very, very excited tonight, and we got a lot of stuff to go over real quick. So, hold on, Joe. I'm just fixing your screen here. There we go. Much better, much better. All right, Joe. If you haven't already, our live stream with Adam.
Yes, Jay went head-to-head with Adam of Scribe Productions. Check that out.
And our last week's stream.
Yes, with Tyler Nichols of Joe Blow. Originals.
Let's rip through these real quick, Joe. We got a bunch of videos out there on the channel right now, starting with our energy drink review.
Yes, of the MK11 energy drinks from G Fuel with Tabmuck 99.
And of course, check out our live stream, Mortal Kombat final review.
Of our final review of Mortal Kombat 1.
Podcast will be available.
As well as our story mode playthrough, starting at 2 hours and 38 minutes on our sub channel, as well as Twitch as it lasts.
And speaking of Mortal Kombat 1,
we have our unboxing video of the Mortal Kombat 1 Collector's Edition.
And speaking of that Collector's Edition, Joe,
we're giving one away.
And of course, tomorrow on Twitch, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, we will be back playing Medieval Remastered.
And then on Tuesday,
we go back to Resident Evil Nemesis.
Next Thursday, you demanded it. He's coming back.
Yes, Dave Niabor of Dog Eat Dog, right before his European tour.
And then on the 26th,
will be our giveaway with Uncanny Carlos and MK Habit Addict.
And then Saturday the 28th, Watch Party.
Yes, of Ernest Scared Stupid with Mistress Leanna Lee.
And of course, November 2nd, Joe.
Oh my God, Heather Hardy will be on the show.
Yes, boxer, MMA, 5 KOs, 25 wins across MMA and boxing. We are excited to have her on. All right, Joe, do what you do best, plug in social media.
All right, if you want to get us on Twitter or Instagram, both handles are at nerd_cage. Our link to our Discord is in the description. Become a member there as well. And our Facebook discussion group, that is NerdCage Nation. We love everything you guys put up there. No spoilers, no politics. And for God's sakes, keep it civil.
And if you haven't already, please pick yourself up a NerdCage Live t-shirt like the one Joe's wearing. We have pillows, hoodies, stickers, magnets, all bunch of awesome designs here, like our regular designs, any size, any color, not for the kids, PlayStation design, and of course we got some Mortal Kombat designs here, like the arcade marquee, and of course, Mortal Kombat 1 Fatality, 2 Fatality, 3 Fatality, do not tell the RZA, Wu-Tang! For you Kaiju fanatics, we got the legendary Kaiju shirt. We have our MCU shirt, and of course, it's too dangerous to go alone. Get yourself a Zelda-style NerdCage Live shirt. Yes! So, speaking of Zelda, speaking of gaming, Doc Mack, and I was just talking to you off air, you are living every man's dream. So for starters, tell us how you became the owner of such an awesome establishment. Explain the establishment of the Galloping Ghost Arcade, and if you can give us a little history lesson how it started, we'd love to hear it. Floor is yours,
Sure. So, actually, most people think it started with the arcade, and it actually was the inception of it. Everything came from our production company, which opened in '94. Galloping Ghost Productions, and we were working on a 2D one-on-one fighting game called Dark Presence, and had worked on it for we shot it. We had done all live actors, very similar to how the original Mortal Kombats were filmed, and worked on it for about 10 years, and everything seemed so dated at that point. We went back into the studio in 2005 and reshot the whole thing. Came out of that studio and were in post-production, and we had all of our guys working on it and doing green screening, and we were kind of looking at the arcade scene, and we're like, we're putting this out in the arcade, and the arcades are, every time you hear about one of them, they're closing up. So it was just kind of a whim situation of like, yeah, let's open an arcade to prove that they can still be successful. And originally I opened with a business partner who was one of the actors in the second game that we were working on. And it just blew up. We opened in August 13th, 2010 with 130 games.
Wow.
And it was literally like everybody that we were telling about the arcade, and we were introducing a free play model where you just pay a door fee and you get in, which was unheard of at the time.
Nice.
And everybody in the industry was like, that's never gonna work. And it was really a way that we could prove that arcades were still relevant. So we took a very long hiatus. We were still working on the game, but the focus was definitely getting the arcade up and running. And two or 3 years in, I bought my business partner out because we had very different ideas of how we were going to run things. And after that, just kind of put the pedal down, and now we're the largest arcade in the world. We went from being in one building to it's the entire block.
Yeah.
We've done expansion after expansion. We do a thing called the Monday Mystery Game, where we put a new game on the arcade floor every Monday at 5 p.m. and stream the whole thing. We haven't missed a week in over 8 years. So we're up to 952 games. We see about 80,000 people through the door every year, and we just keep expanding it. We've been able to open other businesses that kind of symbiotically help the arcade and facilitate players that travel in from all over the world. So it's been a pretty cool thing.
That's
Eat your heart
amazing.
out, Dave Imposters.
By the way, I just want everybody to know that every time I'm in Chicago, I always make it a priority to stop at the Galloping Ghost Arcade, but Doc, I gotta tell you something. I've been to the Galloping Ghost Arcade like 5 or 6 times already, and oh my God, don't kill me, but I have yet to I haven't been to the pinball side yet, because I'm still going through this is how big this place is. I'm still going through 6 times in my life I've been there. I still haven't played all the games yet that I want to play there, which is why I haven't gotten to the pinball section yet.
It's been a crazy thing where the demand for pinball is insane, and I love pinball. I'm a video game guy though. Like there's 952 video games and then 45 pins. It's a different crowd. It's some people are only go to the pinball side. Some people only go to the video side. Some go to both, and it's all good. It's whatever anybody needs.
I always buy the ticket to go to both because for those who don't know, if you go to Galloping Ghost Arcade, you can pay a fee to just go to the arcade, or you can pay a fee to just go to the pinball machine, or you can pay a combination fee to go to both. And yes. I always buy, ticket for both, but I never make it to the pinball side.
There's a lot down at the arcade side. It's a lot to get through. We see so many people travel in, like from literally all over the world.
Yeah.
And they stay for a week, they stay for a month, and it's a lot of games to get through.
Yes, and also you mentioned earlier about the Mystery Mondays. Please, everybody, links are in the description. The Galloping Ghost Arcade YouTube channel, link in the description, along with Galloping Ghost Arcade Fighting, and of course the website, the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram. Please give them a follow, give them a visit, check out their live streams. One of the more exciting things, and this was inevitable. This has to come up, and the Galloping Ghost Arcade is the only place on Earth with the only machine of Primal Rage 2. Let's talk about that.
So technically, there's a couple of other board sets out there.
Okay.
I think there's one in Australia right now. I know there's I think he's in California. He has the original dedicated cabinet. Ours is a recreation. Original board set and everything. What was that?
Are they owned by businesses or personal?
Private collectors. That was really the private collector in California. I believe he had taken the machine to a show in the maybe early 2000s, and that was like really the first time people had seen it. And it's awesome that people got a glimpse of it, because so many people, that was like the holy grail of arcade collecting. Nobody even really knew it was real. Like there was just a couple of screenshots of it, and there's a few stories from people that said that they played it when it was out on test and everything, but for the most part, it just vanished. So we were very surprised.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you, and this is just my opinion. I try to play it every time I'm there, right? Because I know I'm not going to play it anywhere else. But here's the thing. When I first played it, I didn't like it. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't like it. In fact, I can safely say I like the first one better. However, my most recent visit, by the way, I was DMing you, when I was visiting over the summer. I gave the game another chance, and now that I understand it with the whole Avatar thing, I like it now. I still like the first one more, but now I no longer dislike the game. And now that I'm finally learning how to play it, I really wish it breaks my heart that this game never got a worldwide release.
So this is one of the biggest things. I talk about this with the production guys all the time. The industry in the late 90s was ahead of its time. The players were kind of stuck wanting the same thing. And you had Street Fighter 2 come out, and everybody loved it. You had Mortal Kombat 2 come out. Primal Rage was out. Everybody was just loving everything.
Yeah.
When Third Strike came out, I remember it was in my arcade and then it was out. Like, it came in and people were like, it doesn't have the characters that I recognize, and they kind of pushed it away. And it was very much the same thing for Primal Rage 2. And I think these games were ahead of their time for the players. And I remember when we got our Primal Rage 2, and one of the designers, Chris Tang, who is an amazing guy, he called us up and said that it was really one of the only games that he had worked on. He knew how good this game was, and it bothered him that the game got canceled. He'd worked on other Street Fighter games and Marvel games and worked on the original Primal Rage. And he's like, this was a great game, but people, they didn't really get to enjoy it. It didn't get out there enough and get the exposure. And it was so unfortunate. It wasn't until we had a fighting team, Team GGA, that was a pro fighting team in Mortal Kombat 9.
Nice.
And they tore that game apart when we put it on the arcade floor. They did all these live streams. The first night they did like an 8-hour stream, and they were finding all the deep combos. Like, you'd start a combo in one form, then switch to your avatar, and then finish the combo. And it was something that people didn't really get back then, and we're just like, no, we want Street Fighter 2. And I honestly think that slowed the industry down so much. Like, you look at games like Street Fighter 4, and Capcom listened to everybody and went back, and they're like, okay, you didn't like all these new characters. Well, Street Fighter 4, here's Street Fighter 2 with new graphics, and it's the same moves and same backgrounds, the same music, and it looks beautiful, but it's the same game. It's different, and I loved it. I played it so much, but it wasn't the advancements. And I think in the late 90s, the players influenced the industry so much in to me, a detrimental way, because the cool thing about arcade games was that they could stay. Like, you could have a Street Fighter 2 next to a Street Fighter 3, and if you like Street Fighter 2, go play Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
But as it all evolved, now games, you don't get, you're getting a lot of rehashed stuff. Like, the same characters are just being brought back every single time. And it's like the industry wanted to bring so much innovation. And I think due to player just kind of like backlash, they were like, okay, that's not what you want. Well, you're going to get all the same characters now. And it's one of those things, when we were working on our games, we've got our game Dark Presence, and we've got the sequel to it, Conquering Light. And it was one of those things that always bothered me, like, especially with a game like Mortal Kombat. It's like, it's Mortal Kombat. You're killing people.
Yeah.
Why are they back in the next one? And it kind of devalued the what was going on in the game. It was just kind of like, well, everybody will come back. Don't worry about your favorite character ever getting killed off. He'll be back. And in doing that, it kind of made the previous games where you don't need to have all the games in the series. You can just have the newest one and you'll pretty much get everybody. So to me, I was so critical of looking at Primal Rage with the lenses of, this is going to be a lot of innovation going on in this game, and our Team GGA really took to it. So I'm glad you're giving it another chance and going back.
Yes.
And I think it would have changed the whole industry if they had not listened to the players in a lot of sense. If that makes any sense.
Yes, and I absolutely do believe that Primal Rage deserves either a third game or a reboot. Now, Joe, we got a bunch of questions in the chat.
We do.
So let's field some questions real quick. These are some good ones. So, Joe, fire away. I think Artaro was first.
All right, yeah. So Artaya asks, are there any spooky like horror games at the arcade with a cool name like Galloping Ghost?
We do have a bunch of horror themed games. The Versus Castlevania, Haunted Castle, which is the Japanese arcade version of Castlevania. The much later Castlevania arcade game, Silent Hill, Splatterhouse. So many great horror-themed games that if you're a fan of Galloping Ghosts,
I can add to that. We got the House of the Dead 1, 2, 3, and 4, and Joe, you ready for this one? Resident Evil Survivor Code Veronica, the Japanese game.
Aye.
It is incredible, Joe. Since you're a diehard Resident Evil fan, I'm telling you, that's the first game you and I are going to play is Resident Evil Code Veronica Survivor.
Two player.
Yes.
Great.
yes. All right. I think Shay's got another one.
Yes. Shay asks, what are your favorite kaiju movies?
I'm a huge Godzilla and Gamera fan, so anything from anything with Godzilla and Gamera, I absolutely love it.
Ooh, you just turned Jay off with the Gamera. Mr. Turtle Hater over here.
Hey, give me a break. Okay. If I can make it up to you, Doc, I may hate Gamera, but one of my favorite kaiju movies ever is Daimajin.
Daimajin, awesome.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your Dai love right there. All right. Scott's got a question. I see.
Scott has been admiring your guitar collection. I know we talked about this off air, but if you want to rehash that and let him know what it's all about.
So I do all the music for Galloping Ghost Productions. So I write all the soundtracks for Dark Presence and Conquering Light and all the video games we get to work on. So most of the guitar, well, pretty much every guitar back there is fairly unique. Like there's a Trans Performance guitar, which is they hollow the guitar out and they've put 6 motors in it. So it's able to change tunings on the fly and it can't go out of tune. It makes sure that you're always in tune, not digitally, but by actually adjusting the string tension. So you can change to whatever tuning you want mid-song. So it's changed how I write music and everything. It's such an incredible instrument.
That's awesome.
And Joe, it looks like our friend JT is Reborn, Sean Wick from Detroit, got a nice compliment here.
Yes, he said he's jumping in and wanted to say Galloping Ghost Arcade is one of the most incredible places he's ever been in.
Thank you for that. Love hearing that. We try. It's such the cornerstone is making sure everything is working and playing great, and we're trying to live up to not only the nostalgia of players that have gone to arcades their whole lives, but it on paper it can sound like a hard sell to go, hey, do you want to go to this place and play games from 1976 to through the 80s and stuff? With the console games are so good, so we want to make sure it's an experience for everybody, and for that the games have to all be working and looking great, so that's what we try for. So
that's awesome.
Absolutely. And again, I can attest to it. Again, I've been there like 6 times, and I always make it a priority. It doesn't matter. Chicago's one of my favorite cities to visit, and no matter what I'm doing, I always make Galloping Ghost one of my high priorities. So that being said, let's just we're gonna take a quick break. You know why, Joe? We have a special announcement, guys. First and foremost, before I unleash this announcement, I just want to say thank you to NerdCage Nation for all your support. Last year's Cheesy Movies for Charity was one of the most gratifying things I've ever done in my life. That being said, guys, please feast your eyes and ears to this. Behold. What's up, NerdCage Nation? It's your boy, Jay St. G.
And of course, I'm Joe from FallenOne Gaming.
Last Christmas, we did the most epic watch party marathon that was cheesy movies for charity.
And may I say, it was the most gratifying thing we've ever done on NerdCage Live.
Last year, we raised over $1,000 for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So guess what? We're doing it again.
That's right, baby.
It's charity time.
Yes, Cheesy Movies for Charity 2 will be right here on youtube.com/@NerdCage Live on Saturday, December 16th, starting at noon Eastern Standard Time. So Joe, kick this shit off.
Starting at noon, we will watch Double Dragon, which is currently streaming on Tubi.
And at 2 p.m., we will watch Samurai Cop, which is also streaming on Tubi.
At 4 p.m., it's Garbage Day. Yes, we will watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, which is currently on YouTube.
And at 6 p.m., it will be Joe's first time as we watch the 1966 Batman movie with Adam West, available on HBO Max.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
And for the finale at 8 p.m., we will end on the highest note with Moonfall, available on HBO Max.
For this year, once again, we'll be working with St. Jude's, and we are going to set the initial goal for $1,000. We can do it.
When the watch party starts, there will be a link in the description where you can donate. Progress will be shown on stream.
The first 5 people who donate at least $100 will get a free NerdCage Live t-shirt of their choice at our merch store.
Once we hit our goal of $1,000 for St. Jude's, we will give away a NerdCage Live hoodie from our merch store because it's wintertime and it's our way of saying thank you.
Finally, if we get to at least $2,000 for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, I will cut my hair off and donate it.
St. Jude's is our favorite charity, and we are so excited to be working with them once again.
Thanks a lot, NerdCage Nation. We will see you Saturday, December 16th. That is right. Cheesy Movies for Charity is back. Let's go, Joe. Do you think we can raise $2,000?
Oh, no contest. I'm pretty sure we can.
Let's do it. I am ready. I am ready to endure all the torture of these bad movies. But St. Jude's my favorite charity, and I can't wait. I'm very, very excited, guys. Mark your calendars, December 16th, starting at noon Eastern Standard Time. Hang out with us. Donate if you can. If you can't donate, share with everybody you know. Someone could probably just donate. Just do what you can. If you just want to hang out with us, that's fine too. I'm very much looking forward to it. Joe, are you excited?
I'm excited, dude.
Look at that. Everybody's ready for me to cut my hair off. Yes, all of this. I will chop all of this off if we raise $2,000, and I'll donate it. So, yeah. So, Doc Mack, thank you for letting us make that announcement.
Of course. It's awesome.
Okay. All right, so...
I actually had a couple questions myself.
Okay, Joe, blast them.
Back to the Primal Rage thing. Now that so much time has passed and the industry has, grown so much, and I mean, you got graphically, it's gotten better. Everything's gotten like top tier. If somebody were to buy out rights to Primal Rage and try to make a new one, do you think it would be successful, or do you think it would just be a remaster?
I think it could do very well. The demand for it is definitely there. The excitement from when we put that game on the arcade floor, people were coming in from all over. Like, literally, we had a couple hitchhike from Oregon out to Brookfield, Illinois, just to see Primal Rage 2. And so the game has... It's not Street Fighter, it's not Mortal Kombat, but it has a tremendous following. And it would have come out, had Midway not purchased Atari, the game would have come out. It was so close to being done. I think had it got out there, I think you would have seen a lot more of the Primal Rage games in the series. But once Midway purchased it, the focus went solely to Mortal Kombat. They were kind of like getting the IP off of the market just so they didn't have to deal with it. and they had basically like sidelined, I think it was 7 games Atari was working on at the time. And we have several of the prototype games at the arcade, like Freeze the Cat, Vicious Circle, Beavis and Butthead would be another one. So, but to the original question, yeah, I think definitely if Primal Rage got green lit, it'd do well. It would do well. Like it's very unique, and it has that nostalgia factor, and it's different. I'm sure if they did it today, they would probably just use 3D models instead of the stop motion. Which I think would upset a lot of the players, but it's cost effectiveness. It's so much easier to do 3D.
Yeah, I tend to agree. At the same time, I think with the graphics that we have today, they could look amazing.
There's something about it though where it was one of those things even with our game, using live actors now, it makes it stand out so much. Yeah. Games are looking incredible, but they all have that kind of same vibe to them. And you're not getting those different artist interpretations that you used to. Like you could look at a game back in the day that Brian Colin drew, and you'd be like, oh, that's a Brian Colin game. He made Rampage, he made Pigskin, he made Arch Rivals. Yeah. And now just everything looks so beautiful, and it's getting so much easier to make games look beautiful. To me, they're kind of losing that nuance of artisticness, which is if we were doing a Primal Rage game, you'd see the maquettes, you'd see stop motion all day long, because it will have such a different feel to it. And that's what made Primal Rage 2 so cool.
Yeah, I like how you brought up that, back in the day, you could basically link it to the artist that created it and say, okay, well, this is this person. Nowadays, it's more like you can link it to the engine it was created with. They'll say, oh, this was Unreal Engine, or this was Frostbite, or this was Crytek, or something like that. Like, you link it to the company now rather than the person.
Very true, very true.
I know it will never happen, and I know you're friends with Ed Boon, but I gotta bring this up real quick. I know Ed Boon, he can be a troll on Twitter. He actually, right when Godzilla vs. Kong came out, by the way, I hated that movie. But anyway, when Godzilla vs. Kong came out a couple of years ago, Ed Boon teased the idea about what if over at NetherRealm we did a kaiju fighting game, which I know would be a nightmare to get all the rights to. Well, I know Ed Boon has thought about it. I'm sure it's been talked about, but because he brought it up on Twitter.
It's if anybody could get them into a fighting game universe, it would be Ed Boon and NetherRealm. Like those, they have done like brawler games. There's a game, Gigabash, that has a lot of Godzilla characters out there.
And they just announced Ultraman is going to be DLC in November.
It's doable. They could do it. Who knows? The problem with using kaiju as a fighting character, I don't think the players would. Games like Mortal Kombat, the characters move so fast. When you have giant monsters, they should be a little slow and lumbering. And
which is what made Primal Rage awesome.
Primal Rage, it did move well. It was different. It played very different. It didn't have it felt like a fighting game, but I think people have different expectations for Godzilla versus and you can get away with it with a raptor like Talon, and you can have speed in there. But
by the way, Blizzard's my main. Just saying.
Blizzard.
I mean, I just, I like the big muscular characters, and of course, I was always fascinated by the Abominable Snowman and the icy characters like Sub-Zero, and so I really like. It's really Blizzard, and and Diablo are my two favorite characters in that game, by the way.
Well, that was the thing. It was such a small roster of characters, and they just stand out so much. They were so unique to one another. Like it was just such a cool, unique game. After all this time, it stands out. So
yes,
probably gonna make me go play it tonight. I'm gonna have to get a few games in tonight on the original.
So if you're seeing me cheese a little bit, it's because I'm kind of giggling at the comments right now. Don't take this the wrong way, Doc, but if you want to go ahead and read that one comment.
Oh, yeah. Shay said, if you don't mind him saying, he said, your voice sounds a lot like Steve-O's.
And everybody in the chat's agreeing. So now I'm like listening to you.
I think he's great. I love Steve.
Dude, I love Steve-O. Steve-O's the man. I'm just saying. I just want to point that out. The reason why I'm kind of like I'm cheesing right now because the chat's making me laugh. So Doc. So here's a question I'm dying to ask. I know it's a basic vanilla question, but I have to ask. Obviously, we've been talking about Primal Rage 2, but like, what other arcade machine like stands out to you? Like, what are your favorite arcade machines that you have there?
Oh, man. If it's at the arcade, it's kind of the one selfish thing about the arcade is like I won't put a game in the arcade that I don't want to personally play. Favorites, that's such a hard thing. But usually I say it's NARC because that was the
okay, great game.
First arcade game I ever bought. I was 16 when I bought it, and we had a developers day where we invited everybody that worked on the game, Eugene Jarvis, George Petro, Mark Lafredo, everybody that had a hand in creating this game. And the night before our big event, I'm all excited because I'm geeking out. I'm like, I'm going to get to talk to all these guys and find out some insight of the game. And George Petro, who is one of the programmers on the game, calls me up. And he's like, oh, do you have a spare NARC board? And I'm like, yeah, I got one. And we're all rushing around here getting artwork printed out, and because we're having all of them do autographs and everything. It's like, hey, can you drop that off real quick? So drove out, handed him the board, didn't think anything about it. And the next day the event starts out. I'm meeting with everybody. I'm hearing all these crazy stories. And George Petro shows up, and he's like, you know, here's your board back. And he's like, right before, maybe like 2 to 3 weeks before the game actually came out, we had it out on test, and we were adding this bonus level where you're flying this helicopter and you just have unlimited ammo, so you're just dropping missiles and bombs and blowing everything up. He's like, but it was bugged, and the game was so close to coming out, we just pulled the level out and released it as it was without the level. It's like, I finished coding it last night. Here's your board, one-of-a-kind board with this unreleased level from this game from 1988. You're the only one that has it. It's not emulated anywhere. It's not at anybody else's arcade. No other collector has it. Here you go. And it was insane for me because it's like, here's a game I've been playing since 1988.
Yeah.
And now I have this new level that's only playable here from one of the original creators. It meant the world to me. So
I bet I can't even imagine. All right, Joe. I knew this question was going to come up. Scott, go ahead, Joe.
Too. And I think I know the answer, but Scott in the chat asks, do you have the Aerosmith game?
We do. We have Aerosmith Revolution X. We have the 3-player version, which I think our guy huge fans of the game. Again, another George Petro game. We've got the original gun that the original style of gun that Terry Hoskins is holding on the side of the cabinet. We've got that signed by George Petro and Kerry and Jack Hager, one of the artists on the game. So it's amazing game. Absolutely.
So last time, well, not the last time, last year when I went to the Galloping Ghost Arcade. Shout out to Titan, Goji, and Daikaiju, Tony. All the three of us played the Aerosmith game. We beat it. I got so excited. I finally beat it for the first time in my life, just to find out, there's a lot of secrets in the game that you have to go back and do again. I'm like, oh.
There's a lot to that game.
Yeah, so like if you beat it once, you didn't really beat it because you have to be laser fast and laser sharp to unlock a lot of secrets and pathways and so on and so forth. So, I just wanted to share that with everybody.
Like that.
Yeah.
Reason to play it again.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a good question for you. We just talked about your favorite game, but what about let's break it down a little bit. What's your favorite sports arcade game that's at the Galloping Ghost?
Sports, for me, I would probably say NBA Jam.
Yeah.
That's pretty much, I would say, one of my favorites.
Yes. For me, I love NFL Blitz. Like, I'm a Blitz kid.
Blitz is great. There's a game called Dirty Pigskin that was done by the guys from like Raw Thrills. George Petro worked on that one. It was on the Adamus Wave hardware. Amazing game. Like, there's like a mafia team and a zombie team and Vikings, and it's kind of like Blitz, but just crazy characters and stuff. So that's another really cool one.
Okay, I gotta ask. So you're from Chicago. You a diehard Bulls fan?
I am not a sports guy. I've never seen a sports game. Never seen one.
Oh, the reason I was gonna ask was like, well, what if you're a fan or not? But has any like Chicago athletes come through? Like, has like any like the Bulls players or the Bears players come through Galloping Ghost at all?
Sports, not that I can recall.
Okay.
We've had a few of the wrestlers from WWE and stuff stop by.
Nice.
Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston and yeah, but we've done events with the Bulls and the Blackhawks, but we haven't seen any of the players here that we've known.
Okay. Oh God! All right, Joe, get that question.
Scott wants to know if Billy Corrigan ever stopped by.
Not yet. We have a mutual friend in common, so he stopped by, but not yet. We were all supposed to go to G-Fest this year, and Billy couldn't make it. But
what? Whoa, hold on. Billy's a kaiju fan?
He is.
What?
He's an Ultraman fan.
What? There you go, Scott. Scott's the biggest Pumpkins fan I've ever met. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. So I gotta ask, because I've personally never been there, but Madame Zaza's, have you been there or?
I have not.
Neither have I. I just figured I'd ask. All right. I was dying to ask this question. I've been chopping at the bit to ask this question. As a New Yorker, it pains me to say this, but as a New Yorker, I absolutely love the deep dish pizza in Chicago. So, what's your favorite, and what places do you recommend for those who want to go to Chicago or been to go to Chicago? So I'd love to hear.
That's tough. There's I'm such not the right person to ask any food question on. Everybody's I forget the new place that everybody's talking about, but Lou Malnati's is one that everybody raves about. We've got one of our regulars who goes by Fat Chris every time he's in town. That's the place he's always. That's his favorite. That's a lot of people's favorite. So
I try to, like, every time I'm in Chicago. I mean, I always get my Giordano's, my Pequods. I just had Rosadas for the first time when I was out in Chicago last couple months ago. So every time I'm there, I get the places I like, but then I want to try the places I haven't tried yet. So yeah, I'll have to give that place a try.
There's two good ones in Brookfield. There's Danny's. Actually, there's three. There's Baroni's, Paisans, and Danny's, Pisons, and Baronis, I would say, in Brookfield.
Okay.
Are all good.
Nice. Yeah, duly noted. Like I said, I'm always on a mission to get pizza, and I always like to try the different places, and then and I bring some back to Syracuse as well. You know, you got to.
Now I had a question that encompasses like all of entertainment, and we've talked about this with numerous guests. Nowadays, with all of entertainment, it seems to be the season of the reboot. Like everything's getting rebooted. How do you feel about, bringing back all of the nostalgia that we used to have, but in a new setting, the way they've been doing it with everything? Do you think they're doing too much, or do you think it's just the right amount? Or
honestly, I don't like it. I wish they would create new. It's like,
I agree.
It's so much. You start seeing things that are going in directions that they don't need to go in, and it's just kind of like there's great ideas with the advancements they're making, but you don't need to take something old along with it. And the concern is obviously like the IPs have so much weight to them and so much value, but for the creators to make something new and make it as good as something out of the past, that should be the goal. And if it doesn't do it, and if it can't stand on its own legs, then it's not, maybe the ideas aren't good. So it's like, I get it, everybody loves the stuff out of the past, but it kind of seems like you're taking advantage of a fan base, and sometimes, not always, but and it could be done where it's cool. You look at the new Godzilla -1, it's its own new story. They've always done it, and there's times where it can be fine, but I just think it's being too many things kind of brought forward, and I'd love to see.
I think it's getting lazy now, just because of the fact that it's like, oh, well, this already did good, so let's do it again. But you can't work off of that fame forever, and I see them doing even further. It's going too far now, because like, I'm a diehard Resident Evil fan, and I enjoy the hell out of the remakes that they're doing, but the fan base now is calling for like remakes of stuff that doesn't need to be remade. Like now they're calling for another remake of Resident Evil 1. It's like, dude, you remade it twice now. You don't need to remake it again. When does it end? That's what I'm thinking.
It's one of those. I agree. At the same time, I will buy anything Resident Evil. I wouldn't pass one up, but it would be so much better. There's so many constraints and restrictions using an existing IP. Like, it would just something new. The problem is that a lot of the players, it's kind of the double-edged sword. It's like they won't try new things, and because of that, the series that they hold so dear get kind of dragged along and put through some stuff that, as a diehard fan, you wouldn't want to see. So it's one of those. To me, a lot of the fault, you spread it around. I kind of look at the various sides of it. You look at the developers and the designers, and then the players, and they're both at fault. It's like the players want a certain thing, and the developers and designers. I think the atmosphere of why the games are being made has changed so much that it's a bad situation.
Yeah, and I think when they started with remakes, they kind of opened the rabbit hole. They didn't realize they were going to open. When everybody now is, oh, well, you remake this. Well, take this IP and remake this now. And it's like, it's good. It's a good idea. But I still think, if you're going to do that, split your focus to one team does a remake and one team does a new IP. That way you're at least, broadening your horizons a little bit.
The problem is the budgets on the games and how much they have to earn is astronomical. Like if you play the new Mortal Kombat 1 game, the credits, it's like 20 minutes. Yeah. And it's like, it was so funny. The one of our guys pointed out that the Arabic regionalization team was larger than our entire company.
Yeah.
And like, there's just so much, I don't want to say bloat to it, but there's so many people involved in making games now where you can only imagine what the budget was on making that game, and you've got to get a return on it.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny now, too, that you'll see this giant AAA game come out, and it'll be beautiful. And then you'll see this indie game that's made by like a handful of people, and it's just as beautiful, and it's like, you could have done that with 10 people, you know?
Well, that's the thing. The engines are so much easier to use. I was looking over, we were gifted the code book from Rampage, Jeff Nauman, the programmer on Rampage. It's all in ASCII. It's like this thick of code written by one guy.
Yeah.
And you had like 4 people making games back in the day. And now, like, your engines are built, your lighting is like, a lot of it is a lot more automated. But there's so many facets of it that I understand that you need a lot of people, but I don't know. It's one of those.
When you can have these fan-made games look just as good as the AAA developers' games, that says something. You know,
it absolutely does. You look at a game like Sifu when that came out, much smaller company, such an amazing game. I spent so much time on that, and it had so much care put into it. It makes all the difference.
Same with like Cuphead. Like Cuphead's been
absolutely.
Yeah, like you were saying with the credits, like you have to skim through 20 minutes of credits. If you have an end credit scene, you're sitting there forever waiting. It's like, I just want to see the end credit scene. I'm about to YouTube it, you know?
Well, to be fair, Joe, when we did our Mortal Kombat 1 story mode stream, we just talked over the credits.
Oh, yeah, we have the ability.
Yeah, we got the ability to entertain.
Your general offline player isn't going to have somebody, I guess I'll call somebody and have a conversation for 20 minutes before it comes up, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, it's big business. You know, like video games, the multi-billion-dollar scene that it is. It's the companies spend the money and they have to earn it back to make the next game that they want to do. So,
yeah, I agree.
We did miss one question, Joe. If you want to fetch that real quick from Sean Wick about the dojo. I don't know if you can see that far back. If not, I can field it.
Yeah, go ahead and feel it because I got to scroll a bit.
So our friend Sean Wick from JT's Report, by the way, subscribe to his channel if you haven't already, everybody. He said that he went to the Galloping Ghost arcade and saw that there was an arcade, a pinball section, and also a martial arts dojo. How did the martial arts dojo came to be?
So we were doing a show in New Jersey, and it was this guy traveled in from New Jersey. He was a huge fan of the game that we were working on. Saw the arcade, and he was very much wanting to do the same thing out there. And he didn't have the money to do it, so we were like, you could build this community by doing a convention. And once you do this convention, you'll be buying games to have there. And so he started doing that. And his first show that he ran, we went out. He invited us to come out as Galloping Ghost Arcade and Galloping Ghost Productions. Actually, he didn't invite us as the arcade. He invited us as Galloping Ghost Productions to show off our Dark Presence game and Spectre Files Deathstalker, which was a game from 1984 that got canceled that the guy that made Rampage was working on.
Yeah.
So we took that out there. We brought Brian Colin, the creator of that game, Jeff Lee, the creator of Hubert, and Master Daniel Pacina, Dr. Philip On, and John Parrish, all from Mortal Kombat fame. So we're sitting around, and everybody, it's 2 a.m. after the show, and the MK guys, when we started opening up the arcade, we would invite the MK guys, and they were very apprehensive to go out. They're like, it's 20 years ago. Nobody knows who we are. Nobody's got. I was like, no. You guys got to come out. You have this huge fan base you don't know about. So we got them coming out, and when they're doing a show in New Jersey, they're like, this is crazy. We're out in New Jersey. We're getting paid to be here. People wanting our autographs and stuff. And they're like, this is excellent. I wish we could. Pacino was like, I wish we could do something more with you guys. And he runs a martial arts school in the city. Yes. Tony Marquez runs a martial arts school in the city.
EKF. Yes, I go to train every time I'm in Chicago. I train with Marquez at EKF.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
Yes.
And Catalan Zamora has a school in the city, POW. So it was just kind of like, what if we opened up a martial arts school together? And I've done martial arts my whole life, and it was like, yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. And then we got back from the show, and about a month later, my landlord is like, hey, we've got this building. Do you have any other business ideas that you'd want to do? And the whole thing just kind of came together in like 2 days. It was like, I'm talking with my guys. I'm like, hey, what if we open up a gym and martial arts school with the Mortal Kombat guys? And everybody's like, yeah, it's cool. Let's do it. And 2 months later, we were open. And Master Pacino was teaching there, and John Parrish was doing training sessions, and Philip Ahn was teaching Taekwondo, and that became the Galloping Ghost Gamma.
That is awesome. Nice. Sean, great question, man. That's a great question. Okay, so here's what I want to do. This is going to be last call, all right? Because it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. So here we go. The bar's closed, everybody. Last call. If you have any last-minute questions for Doc, pump them out now. We'll do last-minute questions. But I want to talk about something before we call it a night here, Doc, because we were talking off-air. Obviously, we kind of dabbed a little bit of kaiju earlier. Can we talk about your kaiju business and your kaiju appearances and stuff?
Sure. Lifelong Godzilla fan. Back in 2021, so early 2000, I had started a website called kaijukits.com, which is basically a library and database of every Godzilla and Gamera model kit ever released in Japan. And just thousands of kits all documented and pictures of them all and all the information on them. And in 2021, we had started to, I wanted to get into making our own model kits. So we hired some sculptors. We've had guys that do molds. A guy by the name of Ken Coy with Coy Concepts. He had done our Mortal Kombat statue molds and our Dark Presence statue molds.
Nice.
And basically just started 3D printing model kits and then doing molds for them and casting them. And we got the license. We do limited licenses in Japan for our Godzilla model kits that we sell out there now. So
wow, that's an incredible achievement.
Thank you. We have our actual storefront will be opening. It's in between our Galloping Ghost pinball building and our production offices. So there's another building in between that'll be our actual Galloping Ghost Kaiju Kobo offices.
That's incredible. Thanks so much for sharing that with us. I hope everybody heard that. So keep your eyes out when you're in the Galloping Ghost Arcade, especially you Kaiju fans like us. You know, Please keep your eyes out when that opens. You know, we're excited, man. We're excited. It's just amazing. Again, let me just read. You live every man's dream, man. You got the arcade. You get to do this kaiju stuff. Like, damn, man. Like, this is
it's
such an
not
honor.
Work. I'm very fortunate to get to do. It's basically anything that's of interest. It becomes a business. So it's all just stuff I love doing. We've got our printing company with Galloping Ghost Reproductions.
Nice.
We've got an automotive shop with the Galloping Ghost Garage. So, like, all of our guys have sports cars and motorcycles, so we just take them down there. And you try to keep it all encompassed within a 6-block radius. And we've got a lot of plans for the future of expanding the arcade. We're looking at doing a second and third floor.
Oh my God! Yes, let's go.
We're talking about doing a video game museum.
Nice.
We're talking about doing a console and LAN center and a venue. So there's a lot of stuff. We're far from done. So a lot more to come.
That's amazing. Wow, thanks so much for sharing that with us. And like I said, the fact that we get to talk about this stuff with you. So here's what we're going to do, all right? Because like I said, I respect everybody's time here and whatnot. And by the way, our friend Sean says also, he says that he loved the Godzilla arcade games you supplied at G-Fest.
Oh, we'll be bringing them back again soon, too.
Yep, I know. When I went to
G-Fest,
next one. I didn't go to G-Fest this year. I went last year, and yeah, I was definitely there. You know, when they. By the way, I'm so happy they moved to a different venue. But yeah, it was nice playing some of those kaiju games and whatnot. It was definitely cool. Definitely cool. Just playing the old school Godzilla retro games and whatnot. But anyway, so Doc, I'm putting you on the spot. I asked this question to everybody that comes through, and I'm going to ask you, Doc Mack, the owner of Galloping Ghost Arcade. We'd love to have you back on NerdCage Live sometime. Would you love to come back and just talk more? Because I know there's so much more we can talk about.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. You tell me when and I'm here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, trust me. Me and Joe will definitely figure something out, man. I mean, we can talk everything, games and kaiju. We can talk everything, man.
That'd be excellent.
So, like I said, guys, last minute question. Joe, do you got any questions before we call it night here?
I do have one. I didn't want to end on a bit like a low note or anything, but I know you kind of opened the arcade because you saw the arcades were kind of moving on their way out and everything. It's kind of starting to happen again a little bit with the newer games and everything, with the physical media being dropped and stuff. I don't know if you heard, but just recently we found out that Best Buy, as of 2024 quarter one, they're going to start dropping their physical media.
Yeah, well, I think it was just movies. I don't know if it was games, but I think it was just movies.
For now, yeah. And
but we're seeing that transition, yeah.
Yeah, Xbox is starting to go full digital. Nintendo's talking about getting rid of cartridges altogether. And it looks like it's just an all-digital future. How do you feel about that?
You know, it's really up to... Right now, there's so few companies making arcade games. And you've got Play Mechanics, you've got Raw Thrills. Those are the big two. Namco's still doing stuff. But it's one of those... I think the industry needs to prove that the demand is there. And I look at the arcade scene again. I look at it on three levels. You've got the developers and designers, you've got the players, and you've got the venues.
Yes.
So since we've opened the Galloping Ghost Arcade, we've helped 44 arcades open worldwide.
Nice.
Which the demand is there. It's getting much harder because there's a finite amount of classic arcade games. So, it's getting much harder to buy arcade games in general. So that makes it harder for new arcades to open. Again, we were talking about budgets with arcade companies. They don't know that there's money to be made here. And that's one of the big things. I think we're hopefully going to have somewhat of an impact when our game comes out, because we're very much about sharing our information that we get. Just like when we opened the arcade, we shared the business model. We showed how to build a community. We showed how to do repairs and anything and everything to help an arcade be successful. The next step is to do that within the gaming community, to show that you can make an arcade game with a new IP and have it be successful and make money. And you can do a console version afterwards, but you look at the problem of what kind of pushed the arcade scene to the spot it's in. And a lot of the industry people say, oh, it's the consoles that killed. It's like, that was part of it, but in the arcade heyday, there was 3 companies making games. You had Atari and Bally and Williams, and it was a very small amount of companies. And it was once Data East and Sega and Nintendo, like all these other companies piled on, all these very small companies, Hanico, and everybody was making arcade games. And it made the pie seem much smaller. Now, the pie is very large again. So, like, if you put out a good arcade game, everybody will buy it because everybody's going to these arcades. The arcades need new games, and whoever supplies the arcade game first is going to win out. And we're hoping we're really going to be in that spot with our game. We're approaching it from not just looking at it as a designer, not just looking at it as a player, not just looking at it as a venue, but with all three focal points coming in and with data from from all three, it really, we're hoping we can have a big impact and revitalize the arcade scene to the point where maybe it hasn't seen its best days yet. Maybe the best is yet to come.
Yeah, and the thing that's really scary to me, on the console side of it alone, is now that everything is starting to become digital and server-based and license-based, the problem that I'm seeing, like, for instance, WWE 2K22. I guess from what I heard, I don't know if it's the end of the year or if it's in April, they're discontinuing service support for that game. So, and that game's only a year old. So if they're going to do that based on just having a game out for a year and dropping support, I could see this causing a lot of issues for people that want to play games long term.
So this has actually already happened in the arcade scene, unfortunately. In Japan, they went with server-based games. There's like a Nessica Live system, and games very much became where you didn't buy the physical copy, you were just licensing it. And games like, there's an amazing Castlevania game that Konami put out, and it used a light whip. So it's like, picture all the classic music and a lot of the same environments that you would recognize, but done in a 3D, but in a light whip motion. So it's almost like a Wiimote that you're swinging at the screen.
Nice.
And you had to download updates. And there's a third character. The game shipped with 2 characters, and then there was a hidden character that you could eventually unlock from the server. But servers are gone. And seemingly so is this third character. So, like, there's just lost content. And it's such a disposable time where games are coming out so quick, and if they don't do well, they're just kind of thrown by the wayside. And whereas we can look back at all these games that people love from the 70s, 80s, and 90s and early 2000s, the industry doesn't seem like it's learning anything. It makes the same mistakes where people would lose their mind to have some of these old classic games. And fortunately, they're off in warehouses somewhere. It's just a matter of finding them. These new games, once they're gone, they're gone. Yeah. And we've seen there's a huge level of preservation that goes on in the arcade scene, but that focuses on the past stuff, not so much the newest stuff. So it's an unfortunate thing. And I think there's games that have already been lost that came out not too long ago. So it's,
yeah, it seems to be like greed has taken over a little bit, and it's kind of gotten to the point where, yes, we have a full game, but we're not going to release it all at once. We're going to release it in pieces, so you have to buy each piece at a time, and then we're going to drop server support altogether after about a year or two, and you're going to be forced to buy the next one. You know, so it's kind of, you know, it's disheartening at times.
It is. It's so unfortunate. Like, obviously, you need a strong business side to the scene, and there's always been one. If you watch documentaries like Insert Coin,
I plan on to. I haven't watched it. I plan on to.
It's so good. I bet it's very much from the hardcore fans' perspective of what they want to hear. Talks a little bit about the cutthroat scene that was within Midway and everything.
Yeah.
And it's business. It's a business, but the unfortunate side is you have this heavily driven artistic side and then this amazing fan base that wants to kind of have all of it, and they're all competing, and for the business side usually wins out, which is the sad thing. But if you can get a balance between all of them, then you'll see something similar to how it was back in the day, where you had artists creating really cool games that players will love forever. Like the games in the arcade, they stand the test of time for a reason. Whereas, like, you look at the games that in the last couple of decades, the games that come out, they're not as revered. It's like nobody's clamoring to play them. Whereas a game like Rampage or Qbert, so you watch the face of somebody that sees those games and watch how it hits them. It's a different thing.
Yeah, Pac-Man, Defender. Shout out to our friend Drew Stone, who loves the game Defender back in the day. My parents, before I was born, when they dated, their favorite game was Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. Like, that was their thing, you know? Like, yeah, and I love Pac-Man. I mean, to this day, when I'm at Galloping Ghost, I make sure I play a Pac-Man game. So, you know, it's like you said, it's a revered, franchise, arcade game, more so than some of this recent stuff that's come out. All right. So let's wrap it up. We always like to leave our audience wanting more, so we can't wait to have you back. But Doc, before we end it, I want to give the floor to you one last time. If you have a message for NerdCage Nation, anything you want to promote, obviously all the links, the Galloping Ghost Arcade YouTube channel, the website page, it's all in the description. But yes, Doc, go ahead. If there's anything you want to promote and message for our audience, by all means, the floor is yours, buddy.
Well, again, I definitely appreciate you guys having me on. It's a lot of fun being on the show, and hope you'll have me back whenever you want. So, and
absolutely.
Hope to see you guys around the arcade. That would be awesome. Let me know if you guys ever want to do a podcast live from the arcade or something. That'd be awesome.
Oh my God, absolutely. And I try to go to Chicago at least once a year every year, so I'm bound to be back, where if it's G-Fest or another festival or a Giants Bears game, or I don't know, but or a concert, where if it's Ministry or Rammstein or something, I find myself in Chicago quite. Because here's the thing, Doc, just so you know, it's easy for me to get to Chicago because there's two reasons. One, I mean, I don't really fly much, but the train from Syracuse to Chicago leaves at night. So I take the train to Chicago, I sleep off the train at night, I wake up, I'm in Chicago. Or I can just drive, because we live right off of I-90. I can just go get in my car, drive down I-90 for 10, 11 hours, boom, I'm in Chicago. So it's easy. So I find myself in Chicago quite often, and of course, I love the pizza. So I go to Chicago quite a bit. I'm gonna bring this boy with me too. Joe, you're going with next Chicago trip. You're going with me. We're going to the Galloping Ghost. We're gonna get some pizza, and yeah, we're gonna tear it up.
Hell yeah! That'll be awesome. Looking forward to it.
Yes, so listen, everybody, if you're in Chicago, or if you're near Chicago, or you plan on visiting Chicago, make it a priority. Visit the Galloping Ghost Arcade. I'm telling you, it's an experience. And I guarantee you, no matter how long you spend time there, you're not going to get to do everything. Because I'm telling you, I spend hours upon hours and upon hours there, and I keep coming back because there's so many games there I have yet to play. So please, make it a priority to get yourself to the Galloping Ghost Arcade. You'll be glad you did. You're gonna love being in there. I guarantee it. All right, Joe. Let's plug in our shows, man. Joe, what we got?
All right.
Joe, what we got going on tomorrow on Twitch?
Tomorrow we are playing Medieval Remastered.
Yes, absolutely.
We're gonna be getting it this time.
And then Joe, Tuesday
we go back to Resident Evil Nemesis.
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live. Yes, that's old Resident Evil 3, Nemesis on PlayStation 1. Then Joe, next Thursday, he's coming back.
Yes, Dave Diabor of Dog Eat Dog will be back before his European tour.
Yes, we're going to talk the new Dog Eat Dog album. We're going to talk horror movies, and we're going to talk kaiju. We're going to talk everything. Dave is the man. We cannot wait to have him back on. He's a bro. And of course, Joe, the Thursday, the 26th.
Yes, is our giveaway stream with Uncanny Carlos and MK Habit Addict.
Yes, be sure to enter to win a Mortal Kombat 1 Collector's Edition for PlayStation 5. And, of course, Joe, Saturday the 28th!
Yes, as our watch party of Ernest Scared Stupid with Mistress Leanna Lee.
Yes, we cannot wait to have her back on. And then, Joe, oh my God, I'm chomping at the bit. Thursday, November 2nd!
I know, Heather Hardy.
Ah,
She'll be on the show for sure.
She's my favorite female athlete. She's my favorite boxer. I cannot wait to have her on the show. And then finally, mark your calendars for Saturday, December 16th, Joe.
Yes, for Cheesy Movies for Charity 2.
Yes. Double Dragon, Samurai Cop, Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 2, Batman 66, and Moonfall. So listen, everybody. Joe, go ahead. Plug in social media.
All right. If you want to get us on Twitter or Instagram, both handles are at @nerd_cage. Our link to our Discord is in the description. Become a member there as well. And our Facebook discussion group, that is NerdCage Nation. We love everything you guys put up there. No spoilers, no politics. And for God's sakes, keep it civil.
Absolutely. And of course, get yourself a NerdCage Live t-shirt like the one Joe was wearing. We have so many different designs. Pillows, hoodies, you name it. NerdCage Live on TeePublic. Get yourself a NerdCage Live t-shirt. Whether if you're a skinny booty call or a fat fuck, it don't matter. Big or small, we love them all. We go from small all the way to 5XL. And yes, it's the best way to support us directly. All right. So that being said, thank you to our friend Doc Mack of the Galloping Ghost Arcade in Chicago. And for the meantime, everyone, we please ask you to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and spread that shit like syphilis. So USA from yours truly, Syracuse, New York, Chicago, Illinois, all of our friends found around the world at NerdCage Live in the Galloping Ghost Arcade. As always, enjoy life, stay safe, eat your vegetables, do your push-ups, go to the gym, all that good stuff. Keep playing arcade games, and please keep collecting physical media. And good night.
Good night.
And stick around for these awesome promos, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night. We're doing another NerdCage Live giveaway, Joe. Joe, what are we giving away this time?
This time we are giving away the Collector's Edition of Mortal Kombat 1.
Yes! We're excited to team up with Uncanny Carlos and MK Havoc Act to give this away on Thursday, October 26th. Live. Be there. Joe of FallenOne Gaming, how do you enter to win?
Send an email with just your name in the subject line to nerdcagelive@outlook.com.
Absolutely. Be sure to enter before Tuesday, October 24th. We're going to spin a wheel live, and we're going to pick a winner live, and we will email that winner, and that winner has 48 hours to reply to us with your full shipping information, US and Canada only.
Good luck, NerdCage Nation,
and flawless victory! What's up, NerdCage Nation? It's your boy, Jay St. G.
And of course, I'm Joe from FallenOne Gaming.
Last Christmas, we did the most epic watch party marathon that was cheesy movies for charity.
And may I say, it was the most gratifying thing we've ever done on NerdCage Live.
Last year, we raised over $1,000 for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So guess what? We're doing it again.
That's right, baby.
It's charity time.
Yes, Cheesy Movies for Charity 2 will be right here on youtube.com/@NerdCageLive on Saturday, December 16th, starting at noon Eastern Standard Time. So Joe, kick this shit off.
Starting at noon, we will watch Double Dragon, which is currently streaming on Tubi.
And at 2 p.m., we will watch Samurai Cop, which is also streaming on Tubi.
At 4 p.m., it's Garbage Day. Yes, we will watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, which is currently on YouTube.
And at 6 p.m., it will be Joe's first time as we watch the 1966 Batman movie with Adam West, available on HBO Max.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
And for the finale at 8 p.m., we will end on the highest note with Moonfall, available on HBO Max.
For this year, once again, we'll be working with St. Jude's, and we are going to set the initial goal for $1,000. We can do it.
When the watch party starts, there will be a link in the description where you can donate. Progress will be shown on stream.
The first 5 people who donate at least $100 will get a free NerdCage Live t-shirt of their choice at our merch store.
Once we hit our goal of $1,000 for St. Jude's, we will give away a NerdCage Live hoodie from our merch store because it's wintertime and it's our way of saying thank you.
Finally, if we get to at least $2,000 for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, I will cut my hair off and donate it.
St. Jude's is our favorite charity, and we are so excited to be working with them once again.
Thanks a lot, NerdCage Nation. We will see you Saturday, December 16th.
NerdCage Live and Gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe.
Okay.
Shoot it!
All right!
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster. Oh no, Joe. The galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
Ooh, trying to get out of the nerd cage, are ya? Well, before you go, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really intrigued, ring that bell. Thank you for dropping by. Until next time, tell everyone you know about NerdCage Live!